Welcome to another episode of 30 Minutes with DailyStraits.com. Today we have a Sydney-based skincare brand founder, Shoshana Eisner, a pharmacist by training who has created her own skincare line for women with sensitive skin. She has put her pharmaceutical skills to great use by creating products for her brand, which has been well received since its inception in 2008. Her brand, QED Skincare, is a plant-based luxury line that can also be customized to one's needs. Without further ado, let's welcome Shoshana to the show. Hi, Shoshana. How are you today?
Hi, June. Lovely chatting with you.
Thank you. So let's just get right into it. Shoshana, as a pharmacist, after coming up with the formulation and the USP, as in like the unique selling point for your skincare, how did you produce your first sample?
So at university, we did learn formulating, and it's lesser known in Australia that actually pharmacists do mix up products in the back. And so basically, I had a customer coming continuously just saying, how is it possible that there are so many products out there, yet I can't find the one that's right for me? And then literally, I also had other people saying, come on, Shosh, can't you come up with something for me? And one day it suddenly occurred to me, actually I can. So I started researching and then literally trial and error. My grandmother was a caterer and she taught me how to bake. And actually there's a similarity between baking and formulating in that there's a certain alchemy in getting the ingredients which otherwise are not, like, even if you think about baking, like a raw egg is not something tasty, flour is something disgusting, yet when you mix them together in the right formula under the right conditions, you get something magnificent. And so how did I come up with the formula? A lot of research, a lot of trial and error, and in my kitchen.
Oh, in your kitchen. So you did not go to a manufacturer to get the sample, the first sample out?
Definitely not.
All right. And what was your, since you did it at home, was the entry level investment pretty, was it expensive to start the skincare from scratch?
Well, I think if you were starting this way and you were smart, which I was not, you would start with one product or maybe two, and then in that case, yes, the entry level investment would not be so high. However, because I've been working in the pharmacy space for so many years and I could see there were so many people who had different needs, people with sensitive skin, I actually came out with a full range. So the investment was very high.
Yeah, the investment. Would you was that because you went with the, finally after the producing the sample in the kitchen, you took it to the manufacturers to get it done up properly? Was that why it was high? Or
yes, but also in order to make products safe, there's like a lot of testing and things like that.
Okay.
It to be done. And so, I mean, for each product, development can run into the thousands of the dollars. And then to start off with, actually, most of my products were being made by a manufacturer. And so, yes, obviously, you've got minimum order quantities and things like that. And also, the one other factor is because we're in Australia, first of all, obviously labour costs are high, but it was important for me to have it manufactured in Australia because of a certain level of quality. And second of all, we're really far. So there is importing packaging and ingredients can often be a costly exercise. But once again, the fact that we have high quality standards, I think is something like was really important benefit for my customers.
All right. So in 2008, what was, if you don't mind sharing with the listeners, what was the ballpark investment, like the range, and also what kind of MOQs did they ask back then?
I started off with a very cooperative manufacturer. So we were probably looking at about 300 to 600 units, but I launched with about probably 40 SKUs, which is, I would not recommend for anyone else who was launching a brand. So think of a very large number.
Alrighty. Okay, so I just like to take you a step back a bit to the time when you already produced the product but haven't gone to market yet because you wanted to test it to
Yes.
see what the market would think of it. What kind of methods did you use? Like, did you go cold and stop people down the streets and ask them to test it? Or did you ask family and friends for feedback?
Well, I was lucky because I was working in a pharmacy. And also it was a beautiful pharmacy where we had great relationships with the customers. Like one, not like a supermarket one where like literally the customers knew your name and vice versa. So I had pretty much an endless pool of people with sensitive skin to try. And then of course, families, there was a lot of testing and really the other thing is people with sensitive skin are pretty desperate because they find it really difficult to find solutions. So they're keen to try something out. So that helped.
All right. So you had ready-made customers that you could, and they tried your product out without any hesitation because it was a new product, right?
Well, the thing is, as a pharmacist, I had a significant level of trust established already. So it wasn't really cold people. So and again, because this was not an ordinary pharmacy, maybe this was more in line of what pharmacies used to be in Sydney. So literally, and it was a very big one. So my customers knew me and trusted me. So when I said to them, this is scientific, like rigorously researched, they were happy to do it. Plus, we also had like a testing protocol, which is really important for people with sensitive skin. So I wouldn't say, oh, yes, you have a serious sensitivity. Let's put this whole product all over your face. It was more, you have a serious sensitivity. Let's try a dab behind your ear and see and if nothing happens, let's try a dab on your cheek. And if no reaction happens, okay, now let's try it on your face. So again, I had my customers, well, my guinea pigs, I had their best interest in heart. They knew I was trying to come up with a solution for them. So they were very cooperative.
Oh, that's great. As you know, the skincare market business is a very competitive business. Do you, as a pharmacist, always check on your competitors and do you fine tune your products according to your accordingly, or you just stick with what you have?
Do I check on my competitors? Absolutely. Do I adjust everything constantly according to the latest fad ingredients? Definitely not. The thing is, I have a commitment to really solving like a serious pain problem for people with sensitive skin. And so my thing is not about using the latest. I mean, in the skincare industry, constantly we'll see an ingredient come in that's going to save us, and by next year it doesn't exist anymore. So I am more about using ingredients that have been rigorously tested and proven. So do I adjust the products from time to time? Yes. And testing trying out other people's products. Yes, I want to see if there is something better to do, but I'm not into fad ingredients.
Alrighty. So the product itself is very good because it's been formulated by a pharmacist. So how do you decide on marketing strategies? Because that's another thing that will make your product stand out from the crowd.
So that is an excellent question. I will be honest with you, I am not a natural marketer. I like at all. I'm more pharmacist in that if I can see there's a problem, I want to come up with a solution, particularly in the space of sensitive skin. I am married to a marketer, literally a master of marketing. And so, yes, he's intricately involved, but I'm also heavily aware that marketing is so huge in this industry. Actually, I'll give you a little example. Early on in my research, I attended this web conference. It was 2:00 in the morning in Australia. So I was in my pajamas and we introduced ourselves, and I could hear they were like senior people from these massive brands. And it was about formulating. And we all had to introduce ourselves and say what our roles were. And I realized I was actually the only person in there from research development. Everybody else was from marketing. And that was really an aha moment, where so many other skincare brands are developed on a marketing principle. What can I do to make my customer's skin better?
Yes.
So I know that because of my lack of marketing, it's going to bite me in the backside. But I have my principles, and so I hire people to help me with the marketing, but sometimes I tie their hand behind their back.
So your strategies are to get a third party to do it for you. Is that how you work?
Yes, but I'm a serious control freak about it.
What that does it mean that it can't go on certain places, or you are on the budget? Because budgeting is really, really high for that.
Marketing budgeting, it's huge. And I know that there is some kind of science behind it, but it's different to the science.
So you're not the type of business lady who goes for for influencers, digital marketing, or are you more, traditional? How did you get the word?
Well, I have to say I haven't figured that out properly yet. And I know, like, you've got to use all of these options. And one of my big frustrations, and I'm sure anyone knows that with the digital marketing, is that it's changing so rapidly, algorithms shifting and all that kind of stuff constantly. So it's kind of, it's gamified, and you need to have an expert.
So, okay, so you've grown this far all because of word of mouth, right? Because the product itself was really good and people just talked and talked and talked, and you've been in business since, right? That's how your number one strategy is, right?
It has been, but I know that there's not enough for global domination. I'm kidding about global domination, but like being able to help people, being able to get the word out there.
Yes, that's great. So, I would also like to pick your brains on this. So, there are a lot of companies right now, manufacturers, that produce in large quantity skincare lines, brandless lines, and then anyone who wants to have a skincare right now can just approach these manufacturers, and just put a brand name on it. I just was wondering if you had an opinion about that.
Well, I think it fits in perfectly in line with society. Like yes, there is. You'll be surprised at the brands that are taken from white labeled companies. As a consumer, you don't necessarily know whether the brand that you're buying has been purchased white labeled and just had a different brand sticker. I mean, I think that's just a commercial thing. Look, we all know there's like a million skincare brands out there, and we also know that marketing forms such a big part of skincare purchases.
Mm.
So I guess there's a little bit of buyer beware.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying that they're good or bad, but there are some excellent white label companies out there.
All right. So, is there enough skincare line for men, do you think?
That is a good question. So as a pharmacist, most of the issues that are to do with men could be addressed using the same skincare. I'm also married to a man and I have 2 teenage boys.
Mm.
And I can see there is a big resistance about using products that are marketed for women, even if you say, actually, this is good for both. So when I started my brand, I tried tried diligently to make the products gender neutral in appearance, non-threatening colors, non-threatening branding, but I can definitely see that there is definitely demand. Curiously though, it is a well-researched fact that men end up using their women folks products. So they reckon probably 80% of men who live, whether it's their wife, their mother, or even their roommates. So something to keep in mind if you've noticed that your skincare at home seems to be running out faster than you thought.
All right. So you answered this briefly just now. You said you do try other brands at home. So, and you do this often, like every other day, or is your QED skincare part of your, your everyday routine? Maybe you use another brand for night, and then the daytime you use yours.
So the QED skincare is absolutely my routine. And I'm not just saying that because it's mine, but basically, like, I've refined it really and truly. I have sensitive skin, and it's really difficult to find skincare that is good for sensitive skin. And one of my big things about QED Skincare's brand is that it's not just that it doesn't make sensitive skin react, it's that it makes sensitive skin better. Okay. So when I'm trying other products, I'm just trying them out of curiosity. I might try, use it once, use it twice. If I'm like I'm always interested in textures and I think, like, again, as I said, I owe it to my customers to see what is out there because they come to me for an informed opinion.
Okay. They come to you. So how did you decide on the name QED? What does it stand for?
I'm about to reveal myself as a big nerd. In high school, because I guess I'm old, in maths, at the end of a proof, we had to write QED, which is Latin for quadratus demonstratum, which means thus is proven. So because one of the big founding principles of my range is that I'm using proven ingredients. So it seemed really fitting that even though they're relatively new formulations, it was very, very important to me that I'm using proven ingredients.
Okay.
Thus is proven. That's what the QED means.
All right, great. And your brand, right? It customizes for one's needs. So meaning if they come to you have a spa, right, in Bondi, was it Bondi Junction or?
Bellevue Hill.
Sorry, Bellevue Hill. And do they come in and you just coordinate something for them according to their preference? Is that how it works?
A little bit. Basically, one of the big things with people with sensitive skin is scent can be a very big trigger, but scent is also very personal. So we have 5 different skincare ranges so that the products, actually, let me take it back one step. In the pharmacy, I would often see people, they might be looking at cleansers for 5 different, I may see them pick up 5 different cleansers, and I may even be able to see that they were cleansers for completely different skin types, but I would see them sniff the product, and I would see them often choose the product according to which scent they liked. So often people were choosing products that were not actually good for them. But scent is very personal. So one of the big things that we do is most of our products are actually created completely unscented, which is great for someone whose sensitivity is scent or preference, or get migraines or something like that. And then you choose from our scent library, one of our 12 signature scents, and we actually incorporate that into your products. And in our clinic, when you're coming in for treatment, you actually choose the fragrances that you want in your treatment, because you know what, scent is like super emotional, and like the sense of well-being that it can promote, a scent that you love, that's like priceless.
All right. So about your brand, so how many products do you have right now?
There's about 40 different SKUs or product lines, and then 90% of them can be customized in 12 different scents.
Wow, that's great. And what is your best-selling product and why?
So our best-selling product would be the Wrinkle Rewind Repair Serum. It's pure oil and it's a blend of, okay, secrets here, rosehip oil, camellia oil, vitamin E, and evening primrose oil. It doesn't have any scent and other than the actual ingredients. But what is fabulous about it is it can be used to make any skincare range that you're using work better. Because it's packed with antioxidants, and vitamins. It's got a whole host of features, including like it's made out of some oil molecules which are larger, so they stay on the outside to protect and to plump, and to protect and to provide a faint shimmer. And then they also have smaller molecules which penetrate to plump up your skin. So so that serum goes on last, and literally whatever skincare you've put on underneath just works better, even from the simple principle that it prevents them from evaporating as quickly. Also works really well with scars. So even though it's our most expensive product, it's also the fastest moving one, because literally you need very little and people just find instant results. Like you can actually see them when you put it on. So
Wow, that's great. So for this interview, I actually did a research on your brand, and I found an article with news.com.au that said that your no rinse line is one that is so revolutionary, and she loves it because it suits people who have a hard time, putting skincare on, because it's a lot of steps. So you've already cut all the steps and you've made it into one product, and it's a no rinse um, facial wash, which I've never heard of because uh, and I was just wondering if you could like explain more about the idea, where you got the idea to come up with the no rinse brand. And honestly, I have not heard of many brands doing that. Is that uniquely yours, the idea?
I have seen it once or twice in my global research, but it's kind of uncommon. Firstly, water is actually not good for sensitive skin. It can actually dehydrate skin. But actually where the idea came about is I was very time poor. Okay, we can call it lazy. I was working really long hours. At that point, I had small children who also wanted my time. And by the end of, and I like looking pretty, I like putting on makeup, but by the end of the day, the last thing I wanted to do was stand at the sink splashing my face. And so often I'd end up going to bed with my makeup on. And also, the whole, and even if I wasn't wearing makeup, like, just the day's grime kind of thing. But you know what? We get tired at the end of the day. and I was daunted by the number of products and steps that I was meant to use. And it occurred to me that basically that a no rinse cleanser was the perfect option. Literally, I'd have it sitting next to my bed with some cotton rounds. And as I was reading a book back then, now watching Netflix. So basically I had, I would get into bed in the evening, I'd have my cleanser sitting there and some cotton rounds. Then it was a book, now it's with Netflix. And I would literally could wipe off the day's grime. It was also satisfying because you can actually see the dirt coming off on the cotton round. And then I had a little garbage bin next to my bed. And the advantage of not having to use water meant that it actually protected my skin. And also I made the cleanser full of treatment ingredients. And so why would I want to wash them down?
Yeah.
So rather I wanted all the antioxidants and the hydrating ingredients to stay in my skin. So that was basically the principle. It came about from, we'll call it time poorness, but we can also call it laziness. And I'm going to call laziness time poor. But actually, it was much, much better for my skin. So as a result, I've developed 4 different no rinse cleansers so that you can actually really and truly treat your skin You're not, like a lot of people turn to wipes in that situation, but wipes really tend to strip your skin of its natural protective oils. So rather than this, you're actually doing better for your skin, and also you're allowed to be tired at the end of the day.
Yes, that's true. So I wanted to just check with you on your brand. So it's right now available on your in your shop in Sydney, and then and I've also checked it's also on Iconic.
That's correct.
And you remember you mentioned earlier about going wholesale. Maybe you'd like to share for some of that plans, or is that too?
Sure. Well, we do have our own website at QEDskincare.com, and we've actually taken care of customers all over the world. But yes, we are at the moment in talk with different companies to do wholesaling. We think it's very important for our brand to curate who we wholesale to. I think that also gives security to people who want to work with us in the future, that it's not going to be, held by people who don't have the same values.
Alrighty. So finally, Shoshana, what kind of advice do you have for entrepreneurs who want to create their own skin line, but are not necessarily with a science background like yourself?
So if you have a good idea, there are very good formulators out there who can help you come up with your IP, your own product range. Be prepared to have a lot more money than available than you thought. Like whatever the amount that you thought you're going to need, it's going to cost a lot more. And it also really helps to have a very good support network. So
Support network, like what, marketers or?
yes, and also either parents who live nearby who will feed you. Good friends can do that really well as well, because you're in for a lot of really late nights. Your learning curve is going to be amazing. You will never get bored. So yeah, I haven't been bored in a really long time. You get to learn all kinds of things, but yes, most definitely finding really, like, you need to be a bit realistic about your own skill set and what you can learn, and trying to find those people who can support you. Yeah, when you find someone who's good, do everything you can to keep them.
All right. Shoshana, it's been really interesting to talk to you today. Thank you so much. And yes, I will just hope to see QED in Coles or Woolies maybe in the future.
It's an absolute pleasure chatting with you, June.
Thank you very much. Thank you.